So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. 4 goals for Olympiacos, 2 goals for Aston Villa, and not the result we wanted. There's a lot to pick apart in this game. I'm not going to stay on long, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to stay on long because I'm maybe beckoned in a moment. But I did want to come on after this and just kind of. I'm going to talk this through for myself, first of all. As you guys know, post-match podcast, when I do them on my own when Paddy isn't here, sometimes I like to talk them through, and sometimes I disagree with myself and I contradict myself and whatever else. So we'll get that one out of the way first. But I probably, and I'm not just saying this to want to be the person with the different view on this game or to be overly positive, because I'm not particularly positive about a lot of aspects of that game. But I think it's also fair because Villa were extremely poor in the first half. Couldn't get anything going. Allowed Olympiacos do what they wanted. Had no midfield, and we deserved to be 2-0 down. But I thought when we got back to 2-2, Olympiacos were absolutely. I thought throughout the game, for good parts of the game, I thought Olympiacos in big moments were steeped in luck. And I think that's okay to say too. They were good value for their 2-goal lead, 100%. But I also still believe that they were steeped in luck in other areas. You just have to see the deflected goal at the end. I suppose the penalty they got was a penalty. Douglas Luiz. I think we'll just get the elephant out of the room here. Like for me, Douglas Luiz, he couldn't do anything right tonight. Does that make him a bad player overnight? It absolutely doesn't. Do I buy into the whole Douglas Luiz has been poor for X amount of time? Like I was reading on Twitter, and this isn't having a go at anybody. And if people want to have this opinion, that's absolutely fine. But my opinion on it is, I read Twitter and I was going down through it, and I actually said to my missus, I went, I'm after reading here, and I've seen 5 different people say 5 different players have been poor since Christmas. But that just statistically cannot be correct. You know, yes, we may not have hit the heights before Christmas that they're hitting after Christmas, but remember, we were nearly top of the league at Christmas, and now we're 4th. So the whole team have dropped a level, but we're still at a really good level. So I just want to get that one out of the way. I'm not having a go at anyone for that or anything. I just sometimes that might be my neurodiverse brain just kicking into action when somebody says this guy's poor. Maybe they don't mean it's poor, and I'm taking it too literally. So I just want to get that one out of the way. But with regards to the game tonight, after 2 minutes, they could have been in. And Olsen makes a good save after 2 minutes. And then they do go 1-up. And like we got caught out in the middle of midfield, caught badly in midfield. I think it was the first one where Chiquinho gives that lovely flick pass around the corner. And it was the one that was nearly offside. Gives that little flick pass around the corner. I thought in real time it was offside. I thought in the replay it was offside. The camera angle was very far away. You know what? I've no reason to believe that it wasn't onside when you see the still shots. Look, it is what it is. We go down 1-0. It was poor defending. Poor defending. Matty Cash needs to be 2 feet further forward. That's just it's clear to see. Like he was very far behind the line. Did he have a bad game tonight, Matty Cash? No, I don't think he did. I think he had a very good game tonight. I thought he had a good game tonight. People may disagree with me, and that's fine. I thought going forward he was a really, really good outlet for us. And I thought in defence he was pretty okay as well, bar that moment. I thought that our midfield throughout the whole lot of the game was just so passive. Douglas Luiz again. I tweeted at one stage, Douglas Luiz is all out of position, and then about 2 minutes later, Unai Emery pulled him to the sideline and was animatedly talking to him for a concerted period of time. He needed Douglas Luiz to get going tonight, and he didn't really get going at all. He tried to get involved, I think, at times when Abora stepped up into midfield. He tried to kind of get involved in him and tried to get involved with one other player at one stage as well. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it might have been Pedenza, it might have been Ortega. Can't remember. And I just think he kind of, I think he felt flustered early on in the game, and he never fully really recovered. He had some good touches of the ball, yeah, but realistically, like his overall play was, he wasn't there. He wasn't present in midfield. He wasn't that presence, should I say, in midfield. And to a lesser degree, John McGinn wasn't either. There was times that John McGinn was taking the ball and he was waiting for contact from behind, and he was doing his push out of his arse and wait for it, and it didn't come. And then as he went to get turned, people were just stepping in and putting their foot in there. So Olympiacos had a good game plan for that, where we received the ball and we protect the ball and then spin off. They had a good game plan for that midfield, and we had to change that quickly. And I think we did. I think we made an in-game switch to be able to do that. We got nothing going up top in the first half. Absolutely sweet nothing. There was only one time we got a really, really good passage of play, and we just passed straight up the middle. We didn't go forward. We didn't go forward to go back. We didn't go out wide to come back into the middle. We just passed 2 straight balls straight through the middle, and we got some good. I can't remember what the chance was, but I remember we got. I remember thinking that's something I haven't seen Villa do in this game, and actually it's something I haven't seen Villa do in a couple of weeks now. It's just go straight up the middle, pass straight through the middle, and I think one of those passes was a beautiful pass from Morgan Rogers. But we just looked a bit. We looked shell shocked when we went 1-0 down, and we looked a small little bit. How will I say? Sorry for ourselves when we went 2-0 down. But then when we went into the half at the end of the game, at the end of the first half, after that goal from Ollie Watkins, we looked like we were full of piss and vinegar. We looked like we were very, very up for it. We came out in the second half really up for it. Watkins' goal was a brilliant finish into the corner. Diaby's finish was absolutely excellent, albeit I don't know, was it a cross? I don't think it was. I think he just had a pot shot to the front post, but which is fine too. You know, they go in as we've seen today. But the real killer then was the penalty afterwards. And we'll talk about the penalty we got and the penalty we didn't get and all that kind of things, because we'll talk about them in silos. And in silos, they kind of make less sense, but in context, they make more. But the penalty that they got was just a kick right in the stones. A kick right in the stones is what it was. And like, you can't go with your hand like that. You just can't. You just can't go with your hand. Now, I know he's only like 2 feet away from the man when the man heads it, but you just can't go with your hands like that. And they get a penalty and they slot it away. And I still at that point thought this could be a 3-3 game. And then they get that deflected goal from Hesse, who, by the way, I will put a bid in for in the morning. Santiago Hesse, I will put a bid in for him in the morning, and see what Olympiacos want for him. I was really impressed with him. He was somebody I spoke about before the game as well. Boundless energy, a real defensive midfielder, a nuisance, and I really liked the look of him tonight. I thought he gave us fits at times, just because he was a nuisance. You know, he was a real nuisance in there. But anyway, getting back to the chronology of the game, you know, that penalty really is a kick in the stones, because we were bang on top, and they got lucky with that penalty in a way. I know I'm talking about his hands shouldn't be up in the air, but they got lucky in a way with regards to that. And then they get doubly lucky with the deflection off the back. I've seen some people say on Twitter, and look, I'm not the tallest man in the world, but I did play in goals before. Yes, I know. What were they thinking? But I did play in goals before, and it's difficult to move your feet like that. I know people are saying, oh, it came off his back, but it's from a distance out. He should be able to move his feet and save that. It's very difficult, guys. It really is. And, you know, with the spin on the ball and stuff like that, I certainly don't blame Robin Olsen for that goal. But what I do blame for that goal is, like, he gets that ball, or there's 2 people with that ball in the edge of the area for absolutely forever, for ages. There's a touch of the Conor Gallagher syndrome about that goal. They just had a bit of time, and they decided to take a shot. And the only reason they decided to take a shot was, yes, we had a great block, or we had a great wall of players there in front. They weren't able to play through us, but we gave them the option. They gave him an option of a pot shot, kind of like we did with Conor Gallagher against Chelsea. You know, go to him. He's got no options. Why not have a shot, see what happens? And he did, and it comes off Konza's back. People might disagree with me. Olsen gets a hand to it. Maybe Emi Martinez saves it. I don't know, but I can't be saying that Robin Olsen was at fault for that goal, because it's just, to me, it's just not true. that for us to say he was at fault for that goal. I think he was probably more at fault for the second goal. I'm just looking at it going there. He had very, very ponderous steps trying to get over to El Kaabi there. I think he was terrified of giving away a penalty. But once again, that was a goal of our own making as well. You know, there was absolutely no picking up of El Kaabi when he went through for the second goal. So, yes, we weren't good. And yes, Olympiacos absolutely bossed us for 40 minutes. And I'm pissed off at the result, obviously. But if we like it slices of good fortune have us 4-2 down. And it kind of is, you know? Like, good fortune doesn't win you games in a lot of aspects, but it gives you big moments. We missed our penalty. That's the biggest thing that pisses me off more. Their goals are what they are. And I think it could have been a 4-4 game. That's where I'm going to with this. And I think we'll score goals in Athens. I'm actually really confident we're going to score goals in Athens, because I think that there was lots of flaws in their game. The flaws in our game, obviously, because we lost, but there's flaws in their game too. Well, that penalty miss at the end is the thing. That's what I want to kind of harp on it for another moment. Is that penalty miss just compounded a really poor night for Douglas Luiz, and like, it compounded a really bad night for Aston Villa from that point of view too. Because 4-3, I think we go to Athens, we get a goal, we get win a penalty, something along those lines. We've Martinez back, I think Post starts in Athens. 4-2, I still think we'll score goals, but it means that we have to obviously go and win there by 2 goals. Now, in a raucous atmosphere, I haven't spoken about the man with the whistle yet either, and I will in a moment, but we will be putting a lot of trust in the man with the whistle not to be intimidated by their crowd. The man with the whistle tonight certainly wasn't intimidated by our crowd, and I thought our crowd were very, very good, by the way, but he certainly wasn't, and just a bit erratic, a lot erratic, I think. The penalty he didn't give to Leon Bailey, I still, to this day, I'm never going to understand that one. That's as stonewall as you get from me. And people will disagree, and that's fine, but like, we won't fall out over it. But I think it's stonewall. VAR don't even check it. And a couple of times there as well where Aston Villa players are manipulating the ball and they get checked with an arse or with a hip, and he's waving play on, or he's telling them to get up. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, there was times, like, Twitter was aghast with the referee was poor, and I certainly wasn't a good referee today, but like, you know, the penalty he gave against Douglas Luiz for me was a penalty. The penalty he gave for Villa at the end was a penalty. And yes, he didn't give the penalty for Leon Bailey, but you know, if you want to talk about sequences of events, maybe Watkins doesn't score because he scores a couple of minutes later. So I'm not too. I'm over the Bailey penalty at this point of the evening, albeit it was fucking stonewall. So yeah, it's a bit of a ball breaker. But the reason I'm not here and I'm not spitting fire either as well is because, well, this is shit and we want to win it. We want to win a tournament. We want to win a cup, and I still think we can. Like, I'm not going to say that it's done, ball burst, it's over. Let's forget about the Conference League. But Chelsea won 2-0 as well tonight. And that's a massive silver lining for Aston Villa. And I think, and I said before, I said a week ago, 15 days is going to define our season. Our season-defining games still have to come in Brighton and against Olympiacos. It would be absolutely wonderful if we had won this game 2-0 today and we're able to take this game to Olympiacos with a 2-0 lead and give everything we could against Brighton to get those 3 points, to go 10 points ahead of Spurs when Spurs can only get 12 points. But that isn't the case. So the players still have to get themselves up for Brighton away at the weekend and Athens and Piraeus to play Olympiacos next week. And I don't think we're out of this. Like, as sad and all as it sounds, I think we're a lucky bounce away from being really back in this tie, because I think we're going to score goals. I do think we're going to score goals. And it's going to be difficult in Athens. It will be 100%. But it should have been difficult for Olympiacos tonight as well. And they made things happen. And I've no doubt that Unai Emery will have been in a situation like this before, where he's been 4-2 down in Europe and has pulled a rabbit out of a hat. Now, he can't do it all the time, but like, just the way this game went, I still feel that there was, like, I feel that we will score goals in Athens. Whether they will too is the other story. That's the other point. Now I'm going to come to some of your comments. I'm sure people are disagreeing with me all over the place. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to be selective, I suppose, really, with the comments. Apologies, everyone. There's just way too many of them. Where are we? Yeah, it just seems to be Dougie. People just thought with Dougie and Olsen really through the whole thing. Yeah, I suppose really a lot of people saying things that I already said there. Do you know what? I prefer actually to get Paddy's view on this, and he's not here at the moment, and I can see stirring on the baby monitor here, so it's tough, kind of double jobbing, and I'm getting a small bit distracted. I'm going to go back and read a lot of those comments. Going to go back and read a lot of those comments, but this is the one that I want to leave you guys with. We beat Brighton and Spurs lose to Liverpool, and it's Champions League for Aston Villa next season. Now that would be absolutely great, but silverware also would be absolutely great too. And I think that Unai Emery isn't going to. I think that Unai Emery isn't going to go down with a whimper in Athens as well. And I do think we can score goals. I do think that we can score goals in Athens. I said that lots and lots of times. But like the team, I'm running out of a bit of steam here at 10:20. It was a bit of an emotional roller coaster watching that game because we were up, we were down, then we were in the ascendancy, then we were very swiftly knocked down again, and then that penalty miss at the end. You know, it was an ebb and flow type of emotion within that game. And yeah, as I say, for Dougie Luiz, I think the best thing he could do now tomorrow is just like he just has to shake that one off, that penalty miss off, and get back up in the horse again tomorrow and see what happens. But Brighton is the biggest game of our season on Sunday. And then Olympiacos is the next biggest game of our season next Thursday, and there's no hiding away from that. And if any player does want to hide away, well, then we will talk about it in the podcast. But so far, I haven't seen players hide away from situations. Like whatever I've said here about Douglas Luiz maybe not having a good game tonight, he certainly didn't hide away from situations, and that's character. And I've no problem with somebody showing character like that. Somebody who shirks their responsibilities. He is penalty taker. He wasn't having the best day. He stood up and didn't go in the back of the net. That's life. That's life, But to have the character to stand up and take it, and we can talk here about who would have been the next person to take it. Doesn't matter. I'm a big believer in the penalty. The assigned penalty taker takes the penalties, regardless if he's having a shit game or not, because that's the way it works. And sometimes they go in and sometimes they don't. And for us as fans, we can sit here and we can talk about it forever. But I think for Douglas Luiz, just draw a line under it, and Brighton is the next biggest game because we need him. We don't have anyone else that we can put into midfield. We've no Yuri Tielemans, and I'm not even suggesting that we drop him for the next game. But we've no Yuri Tielemans. We've no Boubacar Kamara. We're not going to start young Tim in Brighton. We've no Leander Dendoncker. We have to rely on Douglas Luiz knocking off the dust of tonight and coming back at it with a clean head on Sunday and putting in his best performance of the season, or not even his best performance of the season, a nice little average performance. And keeps it ticking over. Villa win 2-1 at the weekend. That's what we need because we don't have anyone else. And, we can be full of piss and vinegar, or you guys, anybody can be full of piss and vinegar. But as I say, when I come on these podcasts, I kind of try and reason things out to myself more so than talk to you guys. I hope that isn't insulting, but it just helps me a small bit easier to try and compartmentalize it. But that's what like my view is that Dougie didn't play well tonight. But if Dougie comes out and has a fucking stinker on Brighton because he's still stuck in his feelings about missing the penalty, then we've got an issue, but they're professionals, and best thing he could do, cuddle into a bottle of bourbon tonight, wake up tomorrow morning and new day and move on with it. But yeah, not a good feeling to lose 4-2 specifically at home in a European semi-final, but the great thing about semi-finals is they're over 2 legs, and who knows what's going to happen in the second leg. I would not be surprised if Villa go there and win by 2 goals and take this one to extra time and penalties again, because we don't do things easy. Sure, we don't. We certainly don't. Anyway, I'm beginning to talk a bit of nonsense now, everyone. I'm going to leave you at that. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching and for listening. There's over 1,000 people in here. Again, if you don't normally listen to the channel, if you don't normally watch the channel, or you're watching it on X or Twitter, If you've got a YouTube account, just pop over there, just give us a thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe. Just helps us out. You know, you don't even have to watch it on YouTube. It just really, really helps us out. And likewise, if you're on YouTube and you're on Twitter and you don't know about us on Twitter, just go over there and give us a follow on Twitter as well. You know, we'd love to interact with as many people as we possibly can. But tonight isn't our game. Tonight wasn't our night, should I say. It was a weird type of a game, but sometimes European games throw that up. And tonight was certainly one of them. But let's see what the future holds when we go to Paris in Athens in 7 days' time. But before that, we have the Seagulls of Brighton to contend with, and that's going to be a huge one for the future of Aston Villa Football Club. And the one next week is going to be a huge one for the present, I think, of Aston Villa Football Club, if that makes sense. Thanks so much, everybody. Hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.